Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular scheduled meeting, City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, January 10th, 2023. We welcome everybody here for the first meeting of the year. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Cynthia Reed Ward, followed by invocation by Commissioner Tim. Please join us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Our item is to approve the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? We have a motion from Mr. Brock, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Under special order of business, appointment of Mayor Holberg as Mayor Pro Tem, Vice Chairman for calendar year 2023. I'd like to first thank Commissioner McCourt for your dedication and hard work. And this year, Commissioner Tinsley will be the Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Griffin. So, welcome, Mr. Tinsley.
First time, isn't it?
Under presentations and delegations, recognize Alex Wiesen, Engineer Technician in the Electric Department, as a December 22 Strongest Link in the Chain Award recipient. Director of Electric, Jennifer Freeman, will address. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm honored to have been able to nominate Alex for the Strongest Link in the Chain for the month of December. Alex is truly a joy to work with. He is always willing to do anything that's asked. He works well with his coworkers. They respond to him well. And he does it all with a smile on his face. I mean, if I ever ask anything, he's lickety-split, get it to me. But for the purpose of this particular nomination, I nominated him because, as you'll recall, one of y'all's goals for this year was crime reduction. And a subset sort of under that was to add street lighting. So our goal was to add 100 street lights this year. And Alex kind of took that under his wing. He did an audit. It's continuing, it's not done. I mean, we're continuing to audit and look at areas that are dark and see where we need to add and replace some that maybe just aren't lit. And so our goal was to add 100. And so as of the end of the year, we had added 182. So he far exceeded that goal. He's still working on it. And we actually have replaced 257. So ones that were either out or we needed to, add and replace where they were out. So that's no small task. Like he knows, it's not just like sticking up a light. You've got to know the wattage. You've got to know, everything that has to go with it. And it also speaks volumes to his teammates because he has to actually do the audit, then he creates the work order, then he has to get the line construction to actually do the work. And we've had requests from you guys, we've had requests from citizens, we've had staff that are calling in. We're all kind of working together collectively to get this done, and he'll have it done in a day or two. So that's, it's really awesome. He is a great, great person, and I'm proud to have him as part of our team. And I think that his teammates would say the same thing. And he's a joy to have.
Thank you. Alex, Ms. Freeman, we've noticed your hard work. Just started begin this past week on West College Extension the other evening. On West College, it was lit up. 8th Street's lit back up. So every evening, it seems like I notice what y'all are doing on a regular basis. Thank you for your commitment.
What, do we take a picture now? Do always take a picture? Oh, yeah. Here's your plaque. Come down here. Okay.
Good job, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Next item is the review of financial reports for November 2022. City Manager Jesse O'Connell will address. Good evening.
Good evening. A few things of note for the end of November. We are already 50% through collections for our T-SPLOST fund for FY23, so that's good news. We've also started receiving some of our property tax collections. Of course, those all should have come in last month, so we'll see a big increase in next month's financials, but we did have some that were paid in November. We've received $1.9 million in insurance premium taxes that were collected. We budgeted right at $2 million, so we're a little bit under budget, but still a big increase, about $200,000 from last year's insurance premium tax collected. So that is certainly good news as well. And then one last thing that is a small amount, but I just wanted to point out, we budgeted $25,000 to recover demolition fees that we lien properties if we do have a nuisance abatement project that we complete. We've already collected $27,672 this fiscal year. So Ms. Cardin has done a great job actually getting those liens collected rather than just liening a property that we may never see any of that revenue from. So that was something that I wanted to point out as well. And I will entertain any questions if anyone has them.
Are there any questions? Everything looks great. Thank you. Next item is moving to citizens' comments. This time, the mayor opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for the public hearing or to concern the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The mayor reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. With that being said, is there anybody on my left side like to come before the board? Anybody on my left side? Is there anybody on my right side? Okay. Moving into the consent agenda, we have items 1 through 6. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Have a motion by Commissioner Murray, second by Commissioner Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. All right, this is where the party gets going. Okay, under regular agenda, we have multiple board appointments tonight, so we will roll through each one as diligently as possible. Item 7 is consider resolution making an appointment at the office of judge of the municipal court and approving compensation for said position. And so all we need is a nomination. We don't need a second on a nomination on it. We need to approve it from there. Is that correct? Or do we need to do a second on the resolution? It's just a resolution. So we need a second. Okay. So we have a motion to approve the appointment. Judge Trey Howell. We have a motion for Commissioner Murray. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Tinsley. All in favor of the resolution, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Thank you, Judge. Item 7 is consider a resolution affirming the appointment of the Associate Municipal Court Judge by Municipal Court Judge Trey Howell and approve the compensation as such. And I believe that is for Ms. Lisa Reeves. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We have a motion to approve. Ms. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second? Mr. Tinsley with a second. All in favor of the resolution, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. On number 9 is consider a resolution making appointment of the Office of Municipal Court Solicitor and Municipal Court Assistant Solicitor, as well as approving compensation for said positions. This is for Tommy Eisen, this is the solicitor, and the associate solicitor, I believe, is Tom Kirkbride. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. We have a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Tinsley with a motion, Commissioner Murray with a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 10 is consider a resolution to adopt staff attorney Kelsey H. Carden, Assistant Municipal Court Solicitor for Code Enforcement and Nuisance. A motion to approve. Mr. Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a second? Ms. Murray with a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 11 is consider resolution making an appointment to the Office of Municipal Court Clerk and approving compensation for said position. And this is for Mrs. Melissa Brock. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution? Commissioner Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Brock with a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 12 is consider a resolution making appointment of office of city attorney, approving compensation for said position, Drew Whalen. A motion to approve.
Is he a bulldog?
He is a bulldog.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Mr. Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second that
It's
motion.
Mr. Brock. All in favor of the resolution from Mr. Whalen, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Thank you, Counselor. Item 13 is consider resolution making appointment to the office of the municipal registrar and approving compensation for said position for Mrs. Susan Bartholomew. Do we have a motion to approve? Mrs. Murray with motion, second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 14 is consider resolution appointing Susan Bartholomew, Senior Executive Assistant to the City Manager as Assistant Secretary to the Commission. Motion from Mrs. Murray, second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 15 is, this is where we're moving into appointments. Item 15, and this is where we don't need a second in nomination. We'll take a motion and a second to close nominations and then vote. So commissioners to appoint one commissioner to Archway Executive Committee for 1-year term to expire 12/31/23 to succeed Mayor Holberg. The term expires 12/31/22. And I'd like to continue serving unless there's just,
We're still doing Archway?
yes, sir, at this time.
Move the nomination to close.
Okay. So you make a nomination of Mayor Holberg, is that correct, Mr. Tinsley?
Yes.
Okay. And then Tinsley made a motion to close nominations. Do we have a second? Ms. Murray. All in favor of Commissioner Mayor Holberg serving as Archway representative, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 16 is to consider appointment member to the Board of Health for a 6-year term expiring 12/31/28. That is item 16. It's right here. We have a Terrence Malone, a Denatrus Silas, and a Yasmin Howard. I'd like to nominate Terrence Malone.
I'll nominate Mr. Silas.
We have a nomination for Mr. Silas. Do we have any other nominations?
Move the nominations be closed.
Mr. Tinsley with a motion to close nominations. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Murray. All in favor of Mr. Terrence Malone, please signal by raising your hand. All from Mr. Silas, please signal by raising your hand. 4-3-4 for Malone is Rock, Murray, Holberg, Tinsley, and Silas are Flowers, McCord, and Ward. Item 17, Commission to appoint mayor or designated Griffin Spalding Chamber of Commerce as ex officio. I'll redesignate myself on that board. Item 18, commissioners to appoint 4 members to the Downtown Development Authority for a 4-year term expiring 12/31/26 to succeed Otis Blake III, Ben Cook, Naoda Mean, Jason Chance, whose term expires 12/31. So on these, we've got 4 nominations. Mr. Jerry Court, or we have 7 nominations, 6 nominations in the book. We have Jared Cordova, Jason Chance, Terrence Malone, Ross DeBono, Ben Cook, and Tina Battle. So we will take each position. So on each position, so we have 2 incumbents that want to be reappointed. So we'll take Mr. Ben Cook first. Do we have nominations for the seat of Mr. Ben Cook? We have a nomination for Ms. Murray. Are there any other nominations for that position? Do we have a motion to close nominations for Mr. Cook? Mr. Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second to close nominations.
Second.
Ms. Murray with a motion to close. And all in favor of closing nominations for Mr. Ben Cook's seat, please signal by raise your hand. 7-0. And then another one that would like to, the incumbent is Mr. Jason Chance. For his seat, do we have any nominations for Mr. Jason Chance's seat? I'd like to nominate Mr. Jason Chance over. Are there any other nominations for that seat?
Move nominations be closed.
Mr. Tinsley with a motion to close nominations. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Murray with a second. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. And that's a 7-0. And Mr. Chance is reappointed to that position. Now moving into Mr. Otis Blake's position. Do we have nominations for that position at this time?
Nominate Tina Battle.
We have a nomination for Ms. Tina Battle. Do we have any other nominations at this time? So we have Ms. Flowers with a nomination. We have nominations to be closed by Mrs. Ward. We have a second. Second by Mrs. Murray. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. And then for the seat of Nyota Mean, I'd like to nominate Mr. Ross DeBono. Are there any other nominations for that seat?
Nominate Nyota Mean.
That is not up for.
He's not.
He's not. So
Move nominations be closed.
we have a motion to close nominations by Mr. Tinsley. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Brock. All in favor of the closing nominations and electing Ross DeBono, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Okay, that was the most confusing one. All right, moving into item 19. Commissioners to appoint 2 board members to the Griffin Environmental Council for a 3-year term set to expire 12/31/25 to succeed David Hardin and Melissa Tober, whose term expired 12/31/22. The names that we have on this is Denatra Silas, Yasmin Howard, Catherine Thompson, Jerry Stone, and Melissa Tober. So we'll take the incumbent in that position, Melissa Tober, first. Do we have nominations for Melissa Tober's seat?
Nominate Mr. Silas.
We have Mr. Silas. I'd like to also nominate Mrs. Tober. We have a
Nominations be closed.
We have a motion to close nominations by Mr. Tinsley. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. Oh, I'm sorry, to close nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. And then we've got nomination of Mr. Silas. All in favor of Mr. Silas for that position, please signal by raising your hand. Got 1, 2, 3. And all for Ms. Melissa Tober, please signal by raising your hand. So 4-3 with Rock, Murray, Holberg, and Tinsley on Tober. Moving into David Hardin's seat. Do we have nominations for David Hardin's seat?
Nominate Mr. Silas.
We have a nomination for Mr. Silas.
Nominate Ms. Thompson.
You may if you'd like. Ms. Thompson. We have a motion to close nominations. Mr. Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Murray. All in favor of closing nominations for that seat of Mr. Hardin, please signal by raising your hand. That's 7-0. All in favor of Mr. Silas for this post, please signal by raising your hand. And all of those for Ms. Thomas, please signal by raising your hand. Mr. Brock, which? For Silas, okay. So we have 5-2 with Tinsley and Murray voting for Thomas. Mr. Silas is appointed to that post. Moving into item 20, Commissioner to appoint 7 members, mayor and district, to each board of ethics per ordinance in the Code of Griffin at Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Officers and Employees, Division 2, Code of Ethics. So we'll start off with District 1.
Clark is Copeland.
Ms. Copeland. District 2,
Defer to the next meeting.
okay. Defer District 2. District 3,
I guess I have to defer, so I didn't get a call back to make sure.
okay. Defer District 4, Mr. Brock.
Still ain't talking.
Joanne Todd. District 5,
Bill Dillon.
Bill Tillman. District 6,
Rebecca Belson.
say it again.
Is it Rebecca Belson? Is that what
Ms.
it is?
Betzel. And I'm reappointing Mr. Steve Crouch for the at-large mayor seat. So we've got all appointments, District 2 and 3, tabled till next meeting. Item 21, Commissioner to appoint Commissioner of the Griffin Downtown Council for an annual term to expire 12/31 to succeed Mayor Holberg. Do you have any nominations on that Griffin Downtown Council?
Doug.
Close nomination.
A motion for Commissioner Flowers to close nominations. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Murray. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0 on item 21. Item 22 is to appoint one member of the Griffin Spalding Airport Authority, Post 6, for a 1-year unexpired term to succeed Louis Stacker, who resigned his seat in December 2022. Open the floor for nominations. I'd like to nominate retired General Joseph Rehiser.
Nominate Yasmin Howard.
It's Ms. Flowers for Ms. Jasmine Howard. Any other appointments or nominations? Have a motion to close nominations. So, Commissioner Tinsley with a motion to close nominations. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Murray. All in favor of all in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. And we'll take each one. Those in favor of Joseph Rehiser, please signal by raising your hand. And those in favor of Jasmine Howard, please signal by raising your hand. 4-3 with Rock, Murray, Holberg, and Tinsley voting on Rehiser.
Mayor, just briefly before you move on, we did receive an email this afternoon from Ms. Wyndham, the Airport Authority attorney. They have asked by vote last night at the Airport Authority meeting that we consider Blake Locke having terminated or vacated his position on the Airport Authority for lack of attendance. So they have asked that we reappoint that seat as well. I don't know if you want to leave that open until the next meeting or if you want to go ahead and make an appointment there, or what the pleasure of the board is.
I'd like for us to take action on that at the next meeting and then open up we've got another, I know at least one appointment we'd like to appoint in the future, so potentially open that one up for nominations.
Okay, we'll make sure it's on the next agenda.
Is that the one we just did?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to, well,
No, that was Mr. Thacker. So Mr. Thacker has retired, and so he's resigning from that board. But Mr. Locke was also a city appointment and has failed to show up several times. And so there isn't actually a provision in the bylaws of the airport authority as to what they do for lack of attendance. So Ms. Wyndham presented to their board last night at their meeting that they vote by resolution, since he's only attended 2 meetings in the last 12 months, that they consider him to be having vacated his seat.
oh, I'm in favor of pulling from the appointees that we already have.
So I would second that emotion. We have somebody already that's interested in it.
Okay. So we have so do we want to amend the agenda to vote on accepting the removal, or what do we need to do, Mr. Whalen?
I don't think so without discussion, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we use the agenda to.
We have a motion, and we have a second, and we got some discussion. Motion for Mr. McCord, second by Ms. Flowers.
Do we add an agenda item?
I think since we've already approved the agenda, in order to do it correctly, we need to have it on the next agenda because it's not advertised as 2 seats, it's only advertised as 1.
Okay, well then I'm in favor of us not reopening nominations that we've already got an established. board.
I second.
Really interested.
If that's a motion, I would.
So we got a motion from Ms. Flowers to maintain the current listing, and second by Mr. Ford to hold the current listing.
If we're gonna do that, we must put vote.
We can't, because we can't put it on the agenda.
So we close the agenda. If we close,
Well, the question is whether we're going to once we accept that, then we would not allow any other names to be nominated to.
Don't they have to vote on the resolution to remove Mr. Locke? Yes, they will.
So at the next meeting, we'll resolution to remove him from the post, and then we'll have a resolution to appoint someone to said post. And then I guess the dialogue now, which I guess there is a motion, is not reopening nominations for this position, we're pulling from the pool that we already have.
Yes.
And I know some folks that have interest in putting their name to be,
They had put, they already had time to put their name in.
understand. But we have a motion on the floor to.
Yeah, I got some discussion.
Yes, sir.
When you say you understand, does that mean no one else?
My understanding was that this resolution that's being sent to the authority has to be acted upon. So as of now, until we act upon it, Mr. Locke is still in that position.
Okay.
And so once we accept and act on that resolution, then there becomes a seat, and then you need to advertise for that seat to open it up to the floor.
Where is that said that we need to advertise for it if we already got people? But I got somebody that made it in there by Friday, by the deadline, did exactly what we asked them to do. Yeah, I'm asking before we move on, I don't want.
My interpretation is that
I'm
there's
not-
not an open spot.
Whose interpretation are we going by?
Right now, Mr. Locke is still the appointed member of the airport authority until we act on it as an agenda item.
So what is the proper way to do it? Is it your interpretation, Ms. Flowers, and my interpretation, and Ms. Ward's, that we accept the people whose name got in the deadline by Friday to be appointed to boards? So
They were appointed for the board of the vacancy that was advertised about. There's a new vacancy that comes up. So whether it's this month or whether it's in 6 months, should open up the floor for people to apply for that position, in my personal judgment. So any more discussion, we can call for a vote.
We can, are you guys checking for any clarification about, okay. Can we come back to 22? Or do we have a motion on the table?
A motion on the floor.
What is the motion?
The motion is for us to freeze the appointees. My understanding that you freeze the current applicants, nominees in the book, and not allow others to be added once the vacant becomes officially open.
Okay, yes, that's my
Is that
motion.
your motion?
Mhm.
And so we have a second by Mr. McCord. Is there any other discussion?
Whatever staff is about to
Is
say.
there anything from staff that wants to throw out there?
It's just confusing. The only thing that the bylaws say is that it requires all members to conscientiously attend meetings of the authority's governing board and to be accountable for the effective legal and ethical conduct of authority operations. So this was actually sent to us as a request back in the beginning of December by Dr. Peters, who is the chairman of the airport authority, that we appoint a new person for his seat. I replied and said, I do not think that we have the ability to do that. It's not our bylaws that control the airport authority. It's the airport authority's bylaws that control the airport authority. And so we had made that appointment. We can't just make another appointment because they asked us to. So I suggested that he get with his legal counsel to determine the appropriate way to do that. This is what I have received back. Whether or not they have legal authority to pass this resolution, I don't know. I'm not their attorney, so I guess I would have to defer to Ms. Wyndham and her legal advice that she has given them. So it's just a request from, the way it's worded is it is authorizing the chairman to request from the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners that it appoint a replacement to fill the unexpired term of Blake Locke due to his lack of attendance at meetings of the authority.
Most of your statutory authorities that have removal powers have some form of due process where you have to notify the person, give them at least an opportunity to be heard. I don't know if they've done any of that. I don't know how that applies in this situation. Jessica says it's just not clear from, it's certainly not in their enabling statute. I don't think there's anything in memory. I don't think there's anything in there allows them to remove somebody, whether they show up for meetings or not.
I would think at this time, based on our confusion, we need to table this whole discussion so that we can figure out the appropriate legal authority as to whether or not you can appoint somebody or not for this vacancy, or he just has to let it sit until his term is over. So why don't we let us look into it? If we can put it back on the agenda for next meeting, we will. Either way, I don't know that we have a vacant seat yet.
We rescind our motion.
If you'd like to, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, I rescind my current motion,
Ms. Flowers rescinds her motion.
pending
Pending
further information from staff.
Yes,
Perfect.
ma'am.
Thank you. And moving into item 23, if we're all good.
Can I go back a step, please?
Yes, yes, sir.
I think, I've been sitting here listening to this, and I started to know the airport authority for all the years. And I haven't seen the progress that I thought was proper. Things that you could have done, that you didn't do. We've done a lot of effort to leadership over the last 4 or 5 years. Airport's been there. I don't think we're no closer right now than we probably 2 years, 3 years ago.
Mr. Rob,
All the different changes.
we have a meeting with GDOT and FAA into this month.
We've had so many.
I know we have. We are planning to-
You ought to know about it.
We're going to be having a joint meeting with city and county officials following that meeting to give a state of the airport to everybody. Question and answer.
But we should have been keeping up with it over the years.
Again, we'll-
To this point, when people resign from a committee that's so important.
One person
They're
is
not
retired.
doing
so
anything.
We'll give you if you'll grant me.
I'll stop right there.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. All right, we are now on item 23, correct?
Yes.
All right, commissioners to appoint members of the Griffin Spalding Business and Tourism Association for a year, term expiring 12/31/25 to succeed Jason Chance's whose term expired 12/31/22. We have Justine Howard and Jason Chance.
Nominate Ms. Howard.
We have a nomination for Ms. Howard by Ms. Flowers,
I'd like to nominate
a nomination from Ms. Murray for Jason Chance. Nominations, we have a motion to close nominations for Mr. Tinsley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Flowers. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. All in favor of Ms. Howard for the GSBTA 3-year board appointment, please signal by raising your hand. 3 votes. All those for Mr. Jason Chance, please signal by raising your hand.
Mr. Brock was Ms. Howard.
Ms. Howard, okay, thank you. Ms. Howard with a 4-3 with Rock, Flowers, McCord, and Ward. Moving into commissioners to appoint a commissioner for the Griffin Spalding Business Tourism Association for 1 year.
We just did that.
No, this is for Cynthia Reed.
Oh, I
Item
see.
24.
Sorry,
You're
y'all.
fine. So, I'd like to nominate Mr. Ward if you want to continue serving in that capacity.
Unless somebody else wants to really bad.
All right, I nominate Mrs. Ward. Nominations be closed. Mr. Tinsley with a motion to close nominations. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Murray. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Congratulations. We'll have a couple more hotels before long, you'll have more money to spend. Commissioners to appoint number 45, commissioners to appoint members of the Griffin Spalding County Development Authority for a 3-year term to expire 12/31/25. And we have the seat of Nathaniel Nat Dowdy. We've got Nathaniel Dowdy, Sinquez Jester, and Jasmine Howard for that post. I'd like to open the floor for nominations. We have a nomination of Mr. Dowdy. We have any other nominations?
I nominate Sinquez Jester.
We have a nomination by Ms. Ward for Sinquez Jester. We have a motion to close nomination. Mr. Tinsley with a motion to close. We have a second. Second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0 to close nominations. All those in favor of Mr. Dowdy, please signal by raising their hand. All those for Mr. Jester, please signal by raising your hand. 5-2 with Brock, Murray, Holberg, Tinsley, and McCord for Mr. Dowdy. Moving item 26, commissioners to appoint mayor or designate the Griffin Spalding County Development Authority, and I'd like to reappoint Commissioner Flowers to that position.
Accepted.
Move nomination to be closed. It's a mayor designate.
Oh, well.
You're good to go. Item 27, commissioners to appoint one member of the Griffin Spalding Hospital Authority for a 4-year term to expire 12/31/26 to succeed Kelly Smith, whose term expires 12/31. We've got Mr. Kelly Smith, Jasmine Howard, and Terrence Malone. Open the floor for nominations.
Nominate Mr. Howard.
Okay, we got Mrs. Murray for Malone. We've got Mr. McCord for Howard. And we got Mr. Tinsley, and we got Mr. Tinsley with Kelly Smith.
Ms. Ward.
That was Ward.
Oh, he had said it before.
That's okay.
So you can have it. There you go, Ms. Ward with Ms. Kelly Smith. All right, do we have a motion to close nomination? Mr. Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Murray. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. The first one is on Mr. Terrence. Oh, I keep hitting the panic button. I'm sorry. The judge taught me how to do that, I think.
Lieutenant Walden's not on straight.
Apologize. All right, so we're going to start off. We've got closed nominations for the hospital authority. All those in favor of Terrence Malone, please signal by raising your hand. So Ms. Murray with Ms. Malone. For Jasmine Howard, please signal by raising your hand. Mr. McCord. And all in favor of Mr. Kelly Smith, please signal by raising your hand. So we have 5 votes for Mr. Smith. That's Brock. Mr. Smith? By Brock, Flowers, Holberg, Tinsley, and Ward. Mr. McCord for Mr. Howard. Ms. Howard, and Ms. Murray for Mr. Malone. Moving to item 28 is to commissioners to reappoint ex officio non-voting member to the Griffin Spalding Hospital Authority, annual term to 12/31/23 to succeed Commissioner Mr. David Brock. Do you want to continue serving in that capacity,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brock? I'd like to nominate Mr. Brock for the Hospital Authority. Motion to close nominations for Ms. Murray. Do we have a second?
Do we have anybody else besides David? No disrespect. I'm just curious.
I know you.
Nobody else.
Nope.
We have a motion to close nomination for Ms. Murray. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 29 is to Commissioner to appoint 2 members of the Historic Preservation Commission for 3-year terms set to expire on 12/31/25 to succeed Bonnie Moray and Jason Story. Commissioner to appoint 1 member to the Historic Preservation Commission to fulfill the unexpired term set to expire on 12/31 to succeed Doug Krebs, who resigned from the commission. So we're going to start off on Ms. Bonnie Moray's seat. Do we have nominations for Bonnie Moray's seat?
What name is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have Bonnie Moray, Gary Reed, Yoshonda Jones, Jasmine Howard, and Drew Payne.
Yoshonda Jones, that nominate Yoshonda Jones.
So for the Bonnie Moray seat, we've got Yoshonda Jones. I'd like to also, we got 3 seats. I'd like to also nominate Bonnie Moray, fill her to be reappointed to her seat, for that seat. We have any other nominations? Do we have a motion to close nominations? Ms. Murray with a motion to close. Do we have a second? Mr. Brock with a second. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. All in favor of Dr. Yoshonda Jones, please signal by raising your hand. We have 3 votes, Ford, Ward, and Flowers, and all those for Ms. Bonnie Moray, please signal by raising your hand. Bonnie, 4 is you or not? Okay. 4 votes for Bonnie Moray, Brock, Murray, Holbert, Tinsley. Moving into the you what? For the Jason Story seat, thank you. Jason Story His name is on the book, so we have nominations for Jason Story's seat.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Griffin.
Drew Payne for Jason Story,
Nominate Dr. Yeshua Jones.
Dr. Yeshunda Jones. We have a motion to close nominations. Motion by Mr. Tinsley, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Those in favor of Mr. Drew Payne, please signal by raising your hand. Those for Dr. Yeshunda Jones, please signal by raising your hand. 4-3 with Brock, Murray, Holberg, and Tinsley for Payne. Moving into the unexpired term for Doug Krebs, taking nominations.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Yeshua Jones.
Any other nominations?
Move nominations be
We
closed.
have a motion to close nominations by Commissioner Tinsley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Flowers. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raise your hand. 7-0. So we've got Bonnie Gray, Drew Payne, and then Dr. Yeshunda Jones fulfilling the unexpired term. Moving into item 30, Commissioners appoint 2 members of the Griffin Spalding Housing Authority, one for a 1-year term of resident appointee set to expire 12/31/22 to succeed Gloria Payne, whose term expires 12/31/22, and one for a 5-year term as community representative set to expire 12/31/27 to succeed Shirley Caldwell, whose term expires 12/31/22. And so we've got in that area, Gloria Pine, I think, is the only resident. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to take Ms. Pines first. We have nominations for Gloria Pine resident appointment.
Nominate Gloria Pine.
Have a motion by Ms. Flowers for Ms. Gloria Pine. Have a motion to close nomination by Tinsley. Do we have a second? Second by Murray. All in favor of closing nominations for the resident appointment for Ms. Gloria Pines, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Moving into the community appointment for Shirley Caldwell's position. Do we have nomination for that seat?
Nomination Shirley Caldwell.
Mrs. Ward with a nomination of Shirley Caldwell. Do we have any other names?
Nominations be
We have
closed.
a motion to close nomination by Commissioner Tinsley, second by Ms. Ward. Is that correct? All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raise your hand. 7-0. All right. 31. Commissioners to appoint Commissioner of the Griffin Housing Authority for annual appointment to ex officio member for the term to expire 12/31/23 to succeed Commissioner Ward, whose term expired 12/31/22.
I'd like to nominate Ms. Ward.
We've got Mr. Tinsley with a nomination of Ms. Ward. I'd like to make a motion to close nominations.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Tinsley. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raise your hand. Thank you, Ms. Ward. 31. 32 is next. Okay, commissioners to appoint 2 members of the Griffin Main Street Advisory Board, 1 business property owner downtown area for a 3-year term to succeed Kendra Woodard, whose term expired 12/31/22, and 1 at-large member, meaning living outside the city limits, for the 3-year term to succeed Todd Gulledge, whose term expired 12/31/22. We have 2 names, Todd Gulledge and Ashley Martin. So we're going to take the non-resident appointment for Todd Gulledge's seat. Do we have any nominations?
I'll nominate Todd Gulledge.
Nomination for Ms. Murray for Ms. Todd Gulledge. The motion,
Nominate Ashley Martin.
okay. Ashley Martin.
Is it 2
Who's the-
positions?
So they've got 2 positions, so they both of them live outside of the city limits, and both are business owners in the city limits, so they can
Okay,
be either or. So right now, we're dealing with the non-resident members. So we've got a motion, nomination for Mr. Todd and Mr. McCord for Ms. Ashley Martin. Do we have a motion to close nominations?
second.
Motion by Commissioner Tinsley, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. All in favor of Todd Gulledge for Todd Gulledge's current seat, please signal by raising your hand. 6. And all those for Ashley Martin, please signal by raising your hand. So we've got for Mr. Gulledge, Brock, Murray, Flowers, Holberg, and Tinsley. Now we're going to open the floor for the seat of Mrs. Kenda Woodard Amin. We taking nominations at this time. I'd like to nominate Ashley Martin for the business owner position. A motion to close nominations. Ms. Murray with the
Ms.
motion.
Amin, does she have her name in?
She does not. Do we have a motion by Ms. Murray to close nominations? Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. And 7-0 for Ms. Ashley Martin for the business owner position on the Main Street Board. Moving to item 33, commissioners to appoint mayor or his designee to the Main Street program for an annual term to 12/31/23. I plan to continue serving on that capacity. Item 34, commissioners to appoint 2 members, employee participants and retiree participants to the city's pension committee for 1-year terms set to expire 12/31. Staff recommends Susan Bartholomew and Ms. Teresa Watson. Do we have a motion or do we have someone that will nominate those 2 positions? So Ms. Murray would like to nominate Susan Bartholomew and Ms. Teresa Watson. We have a motion to close nominations. Mr. Tinsley with a motion, second by Mrs. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 35 is commissioners to appoint members to the Planning and Zoning Board, 2 district representatives, one for the 3-year term for District 1 to succeed Pamela Sutton, whose term expired 12/31/22, and to be appointed by District 1 Commissioner Cynthia Reed Ward for one for a 3-year term for District 2 to succeed Matilda Dukes, whose term expired 12/31/22, appointed by Commissioner Flowers. Ms. Ward,
Pamela second.
Ms. Pamela Sutton appointed for District 1, Ms. Flowers
Deferred.
deferred on District 2. Okay. Moving to item 36 is commissioner to appoint Consumer Family Services at-large member to the Spalding Collaborative Authority for 2-year term to succeed Ms. Eula Redding. We have Ms. Eula Redding, we have Demetra Silas, Yasmin Howard, and Michael Daniels as for names. So we have we have a nomination for Ms. Ward for Ms. Eula Redding. Any other nominations?
Nominations are closed.
Mr. Tinsley with a motion to close nominations. Do we have a second? Ms. Murray with a second. All in favor, please signal by raise your hand. 7-0. Ms. Eula Redding to continue serving in that capacity. Item 37, commissioners to appoint city law enforcement members to the Spalding County Collaborative Authority for Families and Children. The city law enforcement member will be a 1-year term set by 12/31 to succeed Chief Mike Yates, whose term expires 12/31. And staff recommends reappointment of Mr. Yates. Do we have a nomination for Mr. Yates? We have a nomination for Ms. Murray for Mr. Yates. We have a motion to close by Mr. Tinsley to close nominations, second by Mr. Brock. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 38, commissioner to appoint commissioner liaison to the Spalding County Collaborative for a 1-year term set to expire 12/31/23 to succeed Commissioner Coral Flowers. And Ms. Flowers, I think you had a statement when we talked earlier.
Yes, would anyone else like to serve in this capacity? I am offering it if anyone would like it. If not, I will keep it, but I just wanted to give anybody else a chance.
So we have a nomination for Ms. Murray for Ms. Flowers. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move the nomination to close.
We have a
Second.
Mr. Tinsley,
Congratulations.
second by Ms. Murray.
Party time.
Close nominations. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Ms. Murray made the nomination on that. Item 39, commissioners to appoint 2 at-large members of the Griffin Spalding Area Transportation Committee. Annual terms expire 12/31 to succeed Kirby Sisk and Dr. Bruce Reed. 2 terms expire 12/31/22, along with ex officio city fire chief or designee and ex officio city police chief designee for annual terms to expire 12/31. So the names that we have for the citizen appointments are Dr. Bruce Reed, Kirby Sisk, Jason Chance, Cinquez Chester, and Yasmin Howard. So we take Mr. Kirby Sisk first. Do we have names for nomination for Kirby Sisk?
Nominate Kirby.
We have Mr. Tinsley with a nomination for Kirby Sisk.
Nominate Mr. Jester.
Mr. Jester by Mr. McCord.
Mr. Bruce Reed.
And this is for Kirby Sisk seat. Mr. Brock, so you would still want to do Mr. Bruce Reed on this round?
Okay.
So we've got Tinsley and Sisk and Jester. Do we have a motion to close nominations? Mrs. Murray with the closing nominations, second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor of Kirby Sisk, please signal by raising your hand. All those for Mr. Sinquez Jester, please signal by raising your hand. It's 4-3 in favor of Brock, Murray, Holberg, and Tinsley. Moving to the Dr. Bruce Reed position, we have nominations for that seat.
I'll nominate Dr. Reed.
This is Murray for Dr. Reed,
Nominate Sequez Jester.
Mr. McCord for Sinquez Jester. Any other nominations? Do we have a motion to close nominations? Mrs. Murray with a motion, second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor of Dr. Reed, please signal by raising your hand. All those for Mr. Sinquez Jester, please signal by raising your hand. 4-3 with Brock, Murray, Holberg, and Tinsley. And then the public safety positions on that, my staff's recommendation is that I'd like to appoint by position Mariza Eller, Director of Public Works, and Fire Marshal Michael Thompson. And then for the police department is Captain Homer Daniel. Do we have a motion or a nomination for those three?
Just
I'll nominate Ms. Howard.
Say again. They're three positions. So
Nominate Ms. Howard.
So we've got Ms. Eller for the Public Works. Do we have a nomination? We have Mike Thompson for the Fire Department and Captain Daniel for the Police Department. Do we have a nomination for all three?
The nominations be closed.
Motion to accept nominations is read for each individual position.
Okay. Is that what Ms. Flowers says? All right. Ms. Flowers for all three positions as recommended by staff.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to close nominations? Ms. Murray with the motion to close. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Tinsley with a second. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand. And the city manager will also be in that position, by her position. Moving to item 40, commissioners to appoint 2 commissioners to the Griffin Spalding Area Transportation Committee for annual term to expire 12/31 to succeed Commissioner Truman Tinsley and Commissioner David Thropp. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Tinsley and also like to nominate Commissioner Rock. Is there anybody else like to be nominated? Do we have a motion to close nominations? Ms. Murray with a motion to close nominations. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Ward. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. And that next meeting is Wednesday week at 1:30. 19. All right, moving to item 14, Commissioner 41, commissioners to appoint mayor only to any position of workforce investment. That. Item 42 is considered, okay, we're done with that. All right, so here we go. Item 42 is consider the minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners call meeting on December 13, 2022. Commissioner McCord departed at 5:36 and Commissioner Flowers arrived at 5:43 p.m. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Mrs. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Consider the minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners meeting on December 13, 2022. Commissioner McCord was absent. A motion to approve. Murray with a motion, second by Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0, one with Mr. McCord abstaining. Item 44 is consider minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners call meeting on December 21, 22. Brock and Flowers were absent. Do we have a motion to approve? Mr. Tinsley with a motion, second by Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 502 with Brock and Flowers abstaining. 502. Item 45 is consider the minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners call meeting on December 29, 22. Commissioner Flowers was via Zoom. So motion to approve by Commissioner Tinsley, second by Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 46 is consider minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners emergency call meeting on Friday, December 30th at 3:15. And I'm showing Ward, Brock. Yeah, Ward and Brock were absent from that meeting.
Brock did not get
I understand.
a day or nothing about it.
So do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion by Mr. Tinsley, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 502. Item 47 is consider the minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners call meeting on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. Commissioner Ward, Flowers, and Murray were absent. Do we have a motion to approve? Approved by Tinsley, second. Do we have a second? Mr. Brock with a second. All in favor, please signal by raise your hand. 403. Item 48 is considered declaring a surplus the attached list of property that was kept in the Griffin Police Department evidence room. The motion to approve. Mrs. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Brock. All in favor, please signal by raise your hand. 7-0. Item 49 is considered declaring a surplus the attached list of seized firearms by the Griffin Police Department. Mrs. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 50 is consider quitclaim deed from the City of Griffin to MEAG Power for approximately 2.2384 plus or minus acres of land located on Steel Ranch Reservoir Road in Pike County, Georgia, and identified as substation number 9. Do a motion to approve. Ms. Murray with a motion. Second. Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 51 is consider resolution in accordance with the Georgia Election Code and the State Election Board to call for a municipal election for District 2, District 4, in the office of the Mayor of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners on Tuesday, November 7, 23, and to establish a qualifying fee in accordance with the Georgia Election Code and rules of the State Election Board, Section 212131, in the amount of $403.20 for District 2, 4, in the amount of $461.88 for the office of mayor. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. McCord with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Mrs. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 52 is consider resolution amending the City of Griffin's fiscal year 2022-23 operating capital budget in the amount of $851,017.04. Motion to approve. Ms. Murray with a motion, second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 53, consider employment contract between the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners and Jessica Watley O'Connor as city manager. And I'd like to make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Second by Mr. Brock. And all in favor of that, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. All right, rolling and going. City managers report.
Okay, glad that one's out of the way. First of all, thank you for my new contract. I look forward to serving with y'all for the next few years. Also want to give a big congratulations to Alex Gleason. I almost did not recognize him because I've never seen him without a hat. So it was interesting to see him up here in a professional capacity today because he is always out working so hard. So I'm glad that he was recognized for that. Again, I just wanted to thank all of you and our staff as well for the hard work over the last month, just going back through those minutes over the last week or so to get them on the agenda to approve shows that we really busted it the last month to try and make sure we did what was best for our citizens. And I still, of course, have a little bit of reservation, but believe that we had to do what we had to do. So I'm glad that it's over at the very least. Just a reminder that we will have a Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade on Monday at 2:30. Ms. Cheryl Brown, who is actually in our PD, is organizing that. So if you would like to participate, if you will please let me know so I can get any information that you may need from her. And also City Hall will be closed in observance of Martin Luther King Day. So reminder to that. Also, we will have our next workshop will actually be at Idlewild in Flovilla, try to get you away from any distractions you may have in town, so we can concentrate on each other and our annual goals on January 24th, starting at 8:30. So a little bit earlier than normal because it's a long day and a busy agenda, and I will get that sent out to y'all as soon as I can. Also, a reminder that your personal financial disclosures are due by June 30th.
And we're due now,
Oh,
but
due now.
they're late after 10:30.
Okay, so they're due now, so if you will get those in to Ms. Bartholomew. We also have an invitation during Cities United Summit for a MEAG annual meeting. So please let me know if you plan to attend and if you plan to bring a guest so we can RSVP all of us. There's been a cost to that, but they do need to know how many are coming. I also, ironically, was asked to speak yesterday at the Cities United Summit, so I will be speaking on Sunday at 10:30 in regards to loss negotiations. So that should be a very interesting hot topic for those that would like to attend. I don't know what I'm going to say, but hopefully it will be politically correct. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Whalen?
I have nothing further other than thank you all for reappointing me again, and I look forward to working with you this year.
I'm glad to see Bruce, my friend over here, his health has improved tremendously over the last month or so.
Thank
Glad to see you back with us. We appreciate what you do over there. I don't have anything else except this goal for 2023.
This is Commissioner Murray.
Just want to thank everybody for being willing to be engaged and giving your time for our board appointments, and congratulations to those who were voted in. And I want to thank the employees and staff of Public Works, Water, and the after-hours call center during the extremely cold temperatures. I know that you all were hopping and way ahead of the game on broken pipes, and I saw you all out there and made a few calls myself, and I know that was trying time during the holidays, and we noticed, and our citizens are very thankful. So I just want to thank you all again.
Commissioner Flowers.
Yes, can you hear me? Just very briefly, I'd like to remind us that as we encourage people to participate in local government, we have to actually give them an opportunity to participate. That's all. I appreciate the appointments, but I would like to remind us that we can't try to hold people accountable and then not give them an opportunity.
Commissioner Ward.
Okay.
Commissioner Gordon.
Just echo what Ms. Flowers said, no comment.
Mr. Tinsley. Nothing to add. And we do have one appointment on Council on Aging. That is a multi-year, a 3-year term. So that'll be brought back up or re-advertised for opportunities there. So happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for your hard work. It's been fun the last couple of months. I appreciate all of you. We have a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Tinsley, second by Mr. Brock. Y'all have a great weekend.
I like it was
That was great.
Oh, you can bring mine. Okay.